Hello, this is Alec Kerr, the film critic for the Conway Daily Sun, with
Nikki Martinez from Magic 104.
and today we're talking about Terminator Salvation, the fourth in the Terminator franchise, and the first entirely set in the future. The previous films always had a robot machine, liquid guy, whatever.
The liquid guy. That's true. That's hilarious. Why is he
going back to the past and trying to kill a human or the parent of a human that will ultimately lead to the destruction of machines in the future. And there's always glimpses of that battle, but now finally we get to see that whole battle. And Christian Bale is the star, taking over the John Connor role. He's the third guy to do it.
Yeah.
And then you also have this new guy, Sam Worthington, who's just absolutely, like, coming out of nowhere. This Australian actor, this is his first major role, and he's amazing.
Yes.
And he's going to be in James Cameron's new film, Avatar, coming out the next year. And James Cameron was the guy who created Terminator, so there's a little connectivity there.
Which is nice. It's always good to have connections.
Yeah. And then we've got Bryce Dallas Howard as John Connor's wife.
Which I totally didn't realize that was her at first. I knew she looked familiar. I was like, why does she look familiar? But it's because I think she kept on a little of the baby weight from because she had previously had a child.
And she's playing a pregnant woman, so it makes sense.
And I was like,
And then you have Moonblood Gold, who again, not someone I'm really familiar with.
No.
She's very good. She's the love interest for Sam Worthington, and they have a nice dynamic together. And Anton Yelchin, who this is like his summer between this and Star Trek.
The kid's rolling in the Benjamins.
I know.
That's what I gotta say, rolling in the Benjamins.
Yeah, and he's like the new go-to guy for sci-fi supporting characters, and he's fantastic. He plays Kyle Reese. Those familiar with the franchise will know his significance in the series. And you know, I was always kind of a little skeptical about this film, especially since I started reading reviews that said it didn't really have the strong characters and strong emotion of the first two films, so I was like, oh, it's just going to be a big special effects film. And the special effects are absolutely fantastic. There's some great action sequences here.
Yes.
But I really did get hooked into the characters, especially the Marcus character played by Sam Worthington. He really steals the film here. It's really more his story than it is John Connor. And if you haven't seen any of the trailers, don't watch them.
Don't. Stay away.
Because they ruin a major twist that comes about an hour into the movie. And even when I first saw the trailer, it really made me angry. Because I knew,
was so upset.
I knew that they were revealing something huge in that trailer. And it just upset me so much. So if you've somehow managed to avoid all the promotion for this film.
And you haven't seen the movie yet.
Just avoid all of it. Because there's a great twist that comes in about halfway. And there's a certain tension with the Marcus character. You don't know there's something up with him, but you don't necessarily know if you haven't seen the trailers.
Yeah.
And so that tension kind of gets undermined if you've seen the trailers. So if you haven't, don't.
Yeah, don't.
But I really enjoyed the film.
I would have to say I was never a really big fan with Terminator. I really wasn't. I mean, the first one, okay. I remember seeing the first and the second one. I never watched the third one. I remember seeing them. I don't remember them. I mean, if you can understand, I remember that I watched it. I remember there was, one or two parts here and there, and I remember some of the,
You remember the
people
catchphrases.
in it. Yeah, exactly.
Everyone knows that I'll be back.
Exactly.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Exactly. I'm like, oh, I knew Arnold Schwarzenegger was in them, kind of thing. But I never really paid attention to them. And I'm a pretty good fan of action films. It's not that I didn't like them. It wasn't my thing for some reason.
Yeah.
I watched this. And I have to say, for someone who can't remember really the storyline or even some of these main characters or whatnot, what their names were, I truly enjoyed the film.
Yeah.
And I would have to say, if someone has never watched the other ones, I still think that you'll really like it, and you will understand to a certain point what's going on.
There's a little title card at the beginning that fills you in a little bit,
which is nice, which is a good thing because the third one was made in 2003. So
and that was kind of a mediocre film.
And then before that, it was 91,
and the one before that was 84.
See, so, I mean, if you had not seen it since 91, or you had never seen the first two, you'd be like, what's going on? But with the title card at the beginning, it works.
Right.
It works. And I think I applaud them for doing that because really I can see that they're trying to bring in new fans, new people who would have never watched the other three, especially the third. But I really enjoyed it. The only complaint that I did have There was one scene in it. It was a fight scene. I don't know if I want to ruin it, but there was a fight scene that I thought just between John Connor's character and one of the Terminators.
Yes, and
I felt
I
it
think,
went on way too long and corny.
Yeah.
I was just like, really? Because he kept on coming back. Like, you would think that he was dead. Like, he killed
he's
the
a
Terminator.
That's the point. The Terminators
Yeah.
are supposed to keep coming back.
Yeah, but it was to an extreme where I was just like, really?
That's what they do.
Really?
That's what they do. But
I
yeah,
know.
it's been leaked that Arnold
Oh,
Schwarzenegger's
okay.
face is kind of plastered on,
Okay.
and
Well,
it's the only moment in the movie like that, because this is a very kind of somber, serious movie.
Yes.
And
it
it's
has
kind
a lot of emotion.
And it kind of is the only moment where they're obviously trying to go. There's also a couple throwback lines.
Yes.
And I'd heard that "I'll be back" is thrown in the movie, and I was dreading when it came up. But you know what? It was actually executed very
nicely.
well.
Yeah, because there was no it wasn't. He was trying to put on a fake voice or anything like that. It was just very calm.
It was tossed out
And
very quickly.
if you didn't listen,
Right.
you didn't pay attention. You were like,
Right.
wait, did he just?
Yeah. So I appreciated that, and because I heard some people saying, "Oh no, they use I'll be back," and you just roll your eyes, but it worked. So
Yes.
I was happy. So they do try to throw in these kind of nods to the other films, and having the CG Arnold face, I wasn't a big fan of it.
I just thought it went on too long. There was a point where I just got sick. I was just really. I mean, it was understandable that he came back after 2 times, but I think it was after the 3rd or 4th, where it was just like, oh my gosh, just stop.
And see,
just stop right now.
And the first one, the first Terminator was really a horror film.
Yes.
And so when the Terminator kept coming back, it was done in a way that was a lot more suspenseful. This was just a straight-up action movie. So when that Terminator kept coming, and you weren't aware, really, of how persistent the Terminator was.
Yes.
So that he kept coming back was really shocking. Now you're kind of familiar with it. And this movie isn't being shot like a horror movie.
No. And that's the nice thing about it, is because if you saw the first 2 and you really are not big, into horror films.
Well, the second one was a straight-ahead action movie.
Yeah, but the first one especially, and then you'll really like this one,
Right.
because it really is action filmed.
Yeah.
All in all, I enjoyed it a lot. I would definitely recommend people to go watch it.
I was
one
pleasantly
time.
surprised by it. I really was.
Me too. I was. And that's coming from someone who is not an avid Terminator fan. I didn't even watch the show.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a lot of people who loved it.
I don't think a lot of people watched the show.
Well, there was a lot of people who did, but...
Yeah. Well, it's canceled now. So.
Yeah. But all in all, I would suggest.
And obviously, they've set it up for another one. To be honest, I really don't need to see another one. I'm kind of content with this.
Me too. Me too.
I really hope they don't milk it. They probably will,
Yeah.
unfortunately. But unlike with Star Trek, where I was hungry for another one, this one really kind of just satiated me, and I was like, you know what? I'm happy.
Yeah.
I'm good. They got another Terminator movie that was good. Don't ruin it.
Don't ruin it.
Don't ruin it.
But I have a funny feeling
They probably will. So, anyway, this is Alec, and this is Nikki, and keep watching.